Hi there, I'm Ricky Saillas. Spring is not too far away, but grass isn't the only thing you'll see growing around El Paso. Political signs are quickly sprouting in yards and roadways, sometimes in areas prohibited by city ordinance. The city's Code Compliance Division wants to make sure residents, candidates, and volunteers know the rules for posting campaign signs in the city. Restrictions on sign size and placement don't exist just to keep the city looking nice and uncluttered. Signs placed too close to the street or near intersections can block a driver's view, possibly causing an accident. The rules are also meant to keep signs from piling up, being forgotten, and creating trash.
You can never put it on city property. So if you want to put it onto a fence that belongs to the Parks Department or the Fire Department or one of the city buildings, that's not allowed. If you want to put it into the ground, like stake it into the ground, that's not allowed either. You have to do a freestanding A-frame.
Code Compliance wants everyone to know the rules before posting campaign signs. Not following city ordinance can result in removal of the sign and a possible citation. A complete list of campaign sign rules can be found on the Environmental Services website or by calling 311. Now to the ongoing discussion of a multi-purpose cultural and performing arts center. The city's bond counsel, Paul Braden, addressed city representatives in response to questions from the public about whether the project could be built outside of downtown. Braden said the city is legally obligated to build the multi-purpose center in downtown. Council was told results supporting the bond election formed a contract between the city and voters. Braden said not having the project downtown would break the city's contract with voters, violate state law, and expose the city to potential lawsuits. The city council can still consider allowing the public to vote for a new site for the project, but that would require a new election. Another option would be filing a bond validation lawsuit requiring the city to provide evidence that conditions have changed so much that it is no longer feasible to build the MPC in downtown. The city attorney says both options would expose the city to legal liability and expense. As mentioned, 4 studies over a period of 2 decades have shown that the best location for the multi-purpose center is in downtown in the Union Plaza district. Voters approved the multi-purpose center back in 2012 as part of the Quality of Life bond package. You can learn more about the proposed arena by visiting the city's website. There's information on the location, a timeline history of events, a fact sheet, as well as background information on past studies and state incentives. The information is also in Spanish. To access the webpage, visit elpasotexas.gov and click on the Multi-Purpose Cultural and Performing Arts Center banner. Elsewhere, City Council approved a recommendation by staff to update the way the city prioritizes streets for major repairs such as resurfacing and reconstruction. The vote included funding for a new citywide pavement study to gather needed data that would be combined along with other criteria such as traffic volumes to develop a new program for prioritizing resurfacing and reconstruction projects. Pavement decisions previously had been based solely on the data of a pavement assessment study from 2008. That study is nearly a decade old and has resulted in mostly residential streets being repaired instead of the streets most commonly used by drivers that are in need of critical repairs. The vote included completing resurfacing and reconstruction projects currently under contract and adding funding for busy streets listed as in need of critical repairs. Now that the windy season has blown into El Paso, the Environmental Services Department reminds residents not to put blue recycle bins out for collection when the bins are half full. Strong wind can knock over those bins, littering streets. The wind also blows those bins into roads, causing a safety hazard for drivers. So remember, on windy days, keep those blue recycle bins away. Don't put them out to be picked up. What would happen if El Paso became the target of a terror attack using anthrax? Several local, state, and federal officials raised that question recently during a training exercise. Your City in 5 correspondent Armando Salivar takes us there and gives us the details.
After air tests confirmed the presence of the bacteria that causes anthrax, officials began the process of providing medication to residents in the area.
The exercise starts now.
This point of dispensing or pod exercise was held at Horizon High School.
First triage, make sure that they don't have any symptoms, then go into the screening to make sure that in the medication form that we select the appropriate antibiotic, and then finally the dispensing.
Local high school and college students patiently waited their turn, while some faced the challenge of explaining what was taking place to their young children.
We have to act really quickly in order to stay healthy, and you can't really scare them because then they'll freak out.
The exercise isn't just an opportunity for parents to speak to their children about sensitive topics. It's also a chance for first responders to practice how they would react in emergency situations like a medical condition and a resident attempting to steal medication from the pod. Take a look.
I need medical attention here, please. I need an assessment, Aguilar.
Do you have any chills? Do you have fever? I don't have any cold sweats. When you have any cold sweats, then you get your assistance, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3, up.
Sometimes when we have these exercises, we don't factor in the human factor. So when we actually face the emergencies, we are not ready to respond to these type of events.
But this time, being ready for any type of event was not a problem. In fact, participants were relieved to know local officials are on standby.
The Department of Public Health would reach out and provide the needed services.
I'm Armando Saldivar.
The exercise has concluded.
For your City in 5.
Thank you, Armando, for that report. A total of 433 participants received their mock medication in just an hour. That's a 300% improvement from a similar exercise not too long ago. Elsewhere, the El Paso Police Department is hiring officers. If you're interested in serving the community and joining the men and women in blue, visit the El Paso Department website for more information on how to apply. If you own a property that's vacant, make sure it's properly secured and kept clean. That message comes from the El Paso Fire Department. Your City in 5 media specialist Nigel Sherman followed firefighters as they visited one property to explain why doing these things can prevent properties from catching fire.
We're here to talk about vacant buildings and their impact on the community and how they task the fire department as far as responses. Annually, more than 6,000 firefighters are injured while battling vacant building fires, and a large portion of that is due to the unknowns inside the structure. Another hazard with vacant buildings is their close proximity to other occupied buildings or buildings that are being well maintained. That's going to cost the citizens more money on if there is some type of fire damage, and it puts life at risk because those buildings are occupied, and I mean, fire doesn't know where to stop until we get there to try and put it out. The one behind us was actually an emergency board up due to the severity of the damage that was caused to the structure. There's been multiple fires at this location, and the city had to step in and help out. See, like this one right here, as soon as you enter, it was the basement is what actually caught on the fire the first time. And it burned up right past that door, it burned through the floor. So that's where if firefighters are going in and trying to do a search and it's all blacked out with smoke, that's where they'll fall in. A property owner can go and make sure that doors are locked, windows are covered, properly boarded if you're not going to be around. If you're not going to replace that broken window every time it gets broken to show that someone cares about the building, then board it up.
Thank you, Nigel, for that report. For a detailed list on how to secure vacant properties, visit epfire.org. The city recently held a strategic planning session where they reviewed the accomplishments of the 2015 strategic plan and shared how the city's vision statement is truly coming to life and there is power in that vision. The vision: El Paso will have safe and beautiful neighborhoods, a vibrant regional economy, and exceptional recreational, cultural, and educational opportunities. Here is a short video that the city put together highlighting our vibrant regional economy, highlights such as the many improvements at the airport, downtown development like the new Marriott Hotel, and the renovation of the historic Camino Real. We've also had new amenities in our city such as Dave & Buster's, Alamo Draft House, Whole Foods, and coming soon Cabela's and the ever-popular Topgolf. Here's the video to see for yourself. As you can see, El Paso is on the move. The city is constantly working to make our community, our home, a better place to live by giving power to the vision. The video you just saw is posted on our website, elpasotexas.gov, if you want to catch it for yourself once again or share it. Well, that's all the time we have for now on this edition of Your City in 5. But remember, you can find out more about these stories and other services provided by the city by visiting elpasotexas.gov. And of course, we're on social media and you can catch us on City TV. And make sure to tune in next week when we have a special edition dedicated to spring break activities. Until next time, I'm Ricky Saillas for Your City in 5.